One spell that's shown very early in D&D Honor Among Thieves is Sofina's Time Stop. However, the movie version acts very different from the version in the 5e handbook. Time Stop has an instantaneous duration, which means that everyone in the room but Sofina would have frozen instantly. However, that would have ruined the film's plot and made the ending impossible.
Oh, Jonathan!
The delightfully named Aarakocra, Jarnathan, is a bit of a fan favorite for how little he appears in the film. Edgin's escape plan calls for grabbing Jarnathan and using him to fly away from the prison. However, grabbing the Birdman could be classified as grappling, which is an action in D&D, an action that negates the fly ability. However, allowing Jarnathan to overcome the grapple and lift himself, a bard, and a full-grown barbarian to safety is a much better story choice than if Chris Pine had broken his neck in the first 15 minutes and had to roll for a new character. Dragonfire is hot. A full-grown adult red dragon, like our chunky boy here, can breathe fire capable of melting stone and steel. That means he is breathing out a flame that's 2600 to 3000 degrees Fahrenheit. Water boils at 212 degrees, meaning that Edgin's plan would have just turned them all into soup. However, again, that would have made for an abrupt end to the film's plot. So the plan works and the party are able to escape their fiery fate. Top of the list of they don't work like that is the film's depiction of sending stones. This is an actual item in the game, and its rules are pretty set in stone. The magical items are depicted in the film as basically walkie-talkies. They are portable communication devices that allow the party to stay in contact as they navigate the tunnels and courtyards of Neverwinter. However, this is not how sending stones work in-game. The sending stones are more like a magical carrier pigeon. However, that would have been far less useful to the group and taken longer to explain, so the film rightly opted for a more traditional use of the magical item. One of the more useful spells in the game's roster is called Speak with Dead, and we see it used fairly accurately in the movie. Edgin and the party use the spell to interrogate several dead barbarians on the location of the fabled Helm of Disjunction. According to the film, they can ask the reanimated corpse 5 questions before they return to the land of the dead. When they forget to ask all the questions, the poor sods are left waiting eternally for anyone to ask what their favorite food is.
Oats. No barley.
However, while the 5 questions are accurate to the lore, the rest is creative liberty. According to the rules, the spell only lasts 10 minutes, regardless of how many questions are asked. This would have made for a far less funny scene, and the movie is right to adjust this behavior just for the amazing post-credits joke. This list has already demonstrated that the movie took some liberties with the rules surrounding magic, and usually for comedic effect. Another example of this homebrewing leads to one of the film's most satisfying and heroic moments. Sofina seems to always save a spell slot for Time Stop, as it's her go-to move when things get complicated. However, the young sorcerer Simon has gotten a lot better when it comes to countering. Simon did manage to counter the spell at the end, however some freeze tag acting lets the group get the drop on the red wizard. In-game, Sofina would have immediately known about this ruse, as when any spell fails, the caster instantly knows. It is incredibly satisfying when Doric Hulk throws Sofina into that wall though, so I'll allow it. The gelatinous cube is one of the most iconic and deadly enemies in the world of Dungeons & Dragons, and for good reason. As shown in the movie, they are a moving block of acid that eats everything in their path. Jumping in, they are lowered to safety, and Doric wild shapes into a snake and escapes, pulling the others free. In actuality, a cube's ooze not only dissolves, it paralyzes, so even Doric's snake self would have been unable to move. Matters are also complicated by just how many people can fit in a cube at a time. According to the monster manual, the cube can hold only 1 large creature or up to 4 medium or smaller creatures inside at a time. Given that even Doric counts as a full-grown tiefling, every member of the party qualifies as a large creature. So in reality, this plan would have failed in so many ways. Chris Pine's character is rather controversial amongst fans, or at least his class is. He is supposedly a bard. That's a class in the game known for their musical ability, dramatic flair, and fine speechcraft. So on the surface, Edgin ticks all the boxes, loot and all. However, he is missing a key feature when it comes to being a bard: Magic. Bards are one of the magic-using classes in the game, and it usually emanates from their musical instruments or pure charisma. However, Pine has none of the usual bardic abilities. Keeping Pine's character non-magical does a lot more for the film's story, however. Simon is far more important as the group's main magic caster. Overall, it's fine that he doesn't have magic. My theory is that his players simply forgot about their spell sheet. Just like what's shown in the film, if you want to use a magical item, you're gonna have to attune to it. Attuning is the act of a magic user sort of syncing their vibe to the magical harmonic whatever of the new sword or jewel they found. However, most spellcasters don't have as much trouble going about it as poor Simon does. In Honor Among Thieves, he has to face a metaphorical avatar of his own self-doubt. It's part of his empowering character arc, and he finally overcomes it in a pivotal moment. In the game, it's far more boring and uneventful. Attunement usually amounts to no more than a short amount of time spent meditating over the item. Doric is a druid, which is a magical class in D&D known for their attachment to nature. One of their common spells is Wild Shape, which allows them to change into an animal. However, it's far less fluid than Doric makes it seem. While it is a quick and painless transformation, the rules state that it can only be done twice a day before a short rest is required. You are also not able to transition from one wild shape to another, making Doric's multi-shifting escape a rules break of the highest order. There is also the matter of what you can turn into, and sorry, an owlbear is not on that list.